So when you think about like what it means to be like a certain race, like black, like when you think of what it means to be black, do you normally think of like the race, like the black race, or do you think like the culture?
Is this camera on me?
I hope so.
The globalist perspective is when you think of blackness, you think of anybody that looks like me and you.
Yep.
And black is very broad.
Yep.
You think of phenotype, you think of characteristics associated with it. So it's like basically how everybody else sees people like you and me. When you look at it from a nationalist perspective, black is African American specifically. That's our culture. That's innate to America specifically.
Exactly.
That's our fashion, that's our music, that's our art, that's everything that we've created that has stemmed from African American descendants of slaves. When people say black, that's with a capital B.
Yep.
When they talking about race, that's with a lowercase b.
I'm pretty much of the same belief. Like like and I was kind of talking about my experiences in Europe and stuff. Like so, in Malta where I was, there was a lot of there was a good amount of black people out there, but a lot of them were like African. Like they were literally like from Africa. Like they may have been refugees or just migrants and stuff. And it's like in talking with them sometimes it's like you realize the disconnect. It's like we are connected by the fact, like, we can strike up a conversation because, like, we're obviously, it's not as many of us out here. So, like, it'll always just be like a little nod and stuff, like, we out here.
But
then it's
brother.
like,
That's
but then when you start to talk and stuff more and, like, you start to realize just the disconnect or you start to realize the uniqueness of African American culture, like, and like of black culture and stuff. And it's like, you realize that it's like, yeah, like we
have our own.
We have our own.
We really nation in America.
Exactly.
Like, black people are a nation in America.
Exactly.
I believe that for such a long time. We have our own language. We have our own culture. We have our own cultural norms, practices, holidays, everything. We even have dialects within our own.
Exactly, bro.
Our own language, like. What they calling it? AAVE.
Yeah.
Ebonics.
Ebonics
has several
nigga
talks. Ebonics has several different dialects throughout regions.
Yeah, if you go to Cali, you won't know what bro. Coming from the East Coast, we go to Cali, we won't know what they talking about. Somebody from LA go to Atlanta. What
coming
are they
from New Jersey coming down to the DMV?
Mo,
Jalike, dummy, Slim. I'm hearing all this shit. I'm like, fuck is y'all talking about?
What are you talking about, like?
And then they like I'm talking to this one John. It's crazy. She from Texas.
Yeah.
I said John, and she like, what the hell is a John? I'm like, you don't know that?
You don't know what that is? Like,
but they don't say it out there.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, bro. And it's so interesting. It's like, for me, like, I didn't really realize, like, how unique it is to, like, like to be African American. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because it's like, bro. And when people say like we're the blueprint and stuff, bro, like we are really the blueprint, bro. And I like like. From having like seen some other places and stuff, like you really start to just see how far our reach is and stuff. Like, bro, you have people like I was in Malta. Malta is one of the smallest countries in the world, but yet here they are blasting 21 Savage.
What they know about 21?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't know nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't even know what they're really listening to, but they like, this shit is hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I didn't really realize just like how much it means to like be a part of the African American culture as opposed to just being a black man, like, and people who are not a part of it, they won't understand it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you talk to a white person, like we were saying, like, they'll just see us, you are black, you are a black man to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, that comes with its own connotations and stuff, but it's like, like, it's really beautiful, like, bro, like, bro, it's like what's the word? Like, bro, it's really a mosaic of, like, what it means to be black, bro, because it's like, we're such and so many people try and group us into, like, oh, niggas are one way and shit. And like, bro, and niggas like me and you, bro, we breaking the norm of like what it means to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be, there's no clear cut type of black man. You can be a part of the culture, but you within the culture, you still forming your own subculture and stuff and
I
things
guarantee
like that.
You, look, I put a suit and tie on, I go into the Pentagon and I got my I met, I gotta stop talking about the niggas that I be meeting while I be in there. It's like, bro, like I had fucking, I had a 2-strand twist meeting with the Secretary of Defense. They looking at me, all his assistants and shit. And then the next day I took it out. And they like, oh, I love your hair. Duality, bitch.
For real, man.
Bro, it's like, y'all ain't never seen me from around the way. Y'all never see no politician that's from, from the culture. Like Obama, he grew up in Chicago, but it's like,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, and also, and you know what I'm saying? Like, within that, it's like, you know, you have Caribbean American culture. You have like, you know, people who have like their parents are African and stuff, and you know they form their own culture and stuff. It's like it's really not as cookie cut as so many people try and like, you know, I mean, people who are outside of the, because you know, being a part of it, you know how different we are and shit. But it's like, you know, people from outside, they have one idea of what we are and stuff, and it's like. And that's why, I mean, you know, especially in professional settings and stuff,
it's
it's
so
like,
impressed when they start hearing you talk.
That's what
and
I'm
I tell
saying.
them like, yeah, I'm pursuing a PhD, and they're like,
what? Like you're so well spoken and stuff. Like, but recently, like, you know, I did really good on my thesis and stuff. And I was telling
someone got
somebody,
an A. Yeah, you feel me? What they do in drink test? That's what I'm talking about.
For sure. Highest grade in my class. I was the only black man.
I was the only
black man in my class. But we'll get on that later.
Come on, man.
But look. I was talking to my supervisor and stuff, and mind you, my supervisor's like, you know, we do a lot of work towards like racial healing, like transitional justice, restorative justice, all these types of things and stuff. When it's like, you know, I was telling them, oh well, you know, I got the highest grade in my class, and they're like, oh wow, Cam, like that's still so amazing and stuff. And it's like, you know, like, you know, I know they mean well and stuff, but it's like, yeah, it be subtle things like that. It's like, bro, I've been working with y'all for 2.5 years, but y'all know I'm obviously smart. I'm obviously smart, you know. So it's like, you know, for them to be like, oh wow, like, you know, like that's so great, like, you know,
they'd be surprised. I remember.
Yeah, it just be the tone sometimes. It's not even like them saying like, oh, it's unexpected or whatever, but it just be the tone and shit. You can tell that like they're caught off guard by it.
They look like a deer in headlight.
Yeah, they're like, oh.
When you start teaching them some shit that they ain't never learned, like I started telling them about my research and shit. And like we gonna get into the research. Like he got a really interesting thesis that he working on. I'm still working on mine. But it's like just telling them about my freaking research and like, wow, I never thought about it. And this is me talking to my professors, like my colleagues. Like I try to tell them because they're like, this is groundbreaking shit. He's like, why have I never thought about it? Because I fucking lived it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying, bro. And then you start to realize just like how out of touch like people. I mean, you know, and it's not necessarily even to any fault of their own stuff. Like, but you know, just like they're out of touch with like, you know, the things that make us and even like, you know, and going back with history and stuff. This is kind of going back to like the last topic, but I recently seen something. It was Nick Cannon. He was talking with
the ADL.
Yeah, the ADL and stuff, and then he was
talking about bug breaking.
Bug breaking, and then the dude was like, "Oh, what?
Never heard of that.
I've never heard of bug breaking and stuff." But it's like
you got to be educated on everything around us and ourselves, but they don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck about our history, and like, you know, our history, like, you know, yours.
Crackers used to eat niggas.
Yeah,
y'all don't know about that.